a regular day and in a regular week, I find that sometimes I just need to attach a bow to something, whether it's like a pair of shoes that just needed a bow, or sometimes I have a lot of things. I don't know what Hey! So this week we are talking about bows. I think they're so useful for so many things. There have been a number of times in my life where I've had to make a bow. I don't have to make an outfit. There's plenty of places to buy clothes, but I've had, for example, like if you have one of those high collar button-up shirts, you might want to make a bow just to stick on the collar. I have a bunch of these little bows to basically make my shirt match my jacket or something else that I'm wearing. So I've got this one, and I've got this blue one. What I didn't know, well, what I did know, but what I want to show you is that there's a number of different kinds of bows that you can make. You can make them out of ribbon, out of fabric, big ones, small ones, ones you can stick on your shoes, ones you can stick in your hair. There's hybrids, and there's all types of different backings for bows that you can put on them, that you can use them for things, and they're useful for so many purposes. I cannot think of a day in my life when I haven't made a bow, just because either I'm making it for a gift for someone or for somebody's child. I make them for festivals and for anime events and for different stuff. And I'm gonna be making some for a local costume shop as well, just for fun. So from the gigantic to the tiny, today's video is all about how to make your own bows. You'll be surprised how easy it is. All right, let's get started. To start, just grab any materials in your house that you think you might be able to make a bow out of. Scissors, ribbons, big wads of fabric, and then you're going to need something to attach it with, so you might want a pin back or some of these big metal clips. I made this video because I searched a bunch of other tutorials on YouTube and they didn't work for me. First bow I'm going to make is a simple ribbon bow. I see a lot of complicated ways to make this on YouTube, but for me the method that works best is the method that my mom taught me when I was 5 years old. I figure if a 5-year-old can do it, I can do it, right? So you just take your ribbon, lay it out flat, make 2 loops. You're going to see the hole in the bottom and you're just going to stick one of the loops down through the hole. This is the perfect bow to put on the bottom of something like a lollipop or a sucker stick, just to make it pretty. And I know you always make 1,000 of these whenever somebody's having a wedding or a baby shower, and then you're just gonna clip this and it makes a little V at the bottom. There you go, cute bow. That's it. You can double this one up. I like to double this one, so I like to put some sort of ribbon. This is classic lace ribbon that I'm using here. So you just take a piece of lace in your ribbon, you do the same thing, you make those 2 little loops and then you fold them around each other, stick one through the hole underneath. So you can pick one, the right or the left, it doesn't really matter. So you stick one right through that loop underneath, pull it through, and bam, you've got a bow, and then you just kind of adjust it, make it pretty. These ones are a bit cuter, and I think they're cute enough to put in somebody's hair. They're great for like little baby clips. So I'm just sticking a clip through the back of it, and then you can just clip that right in your hair, or in your baby's hair, or on your dog, if that's your thing. The next one I'm going to make is a sailor bow. This requires some sewing. You just take a 20-inch by 6-inch piece of fabric. You can make 2 or 3 of these out of 1 fat quarter. And then basically you're going to fold it in half and you're going to iron it again. I ironed it the first time because mine was a bit wrinkly. You don't always have to do that. Sometimes the fabric is flat. Then you're going to take the corner, fold it over. You're going to take an iron, do the other side. It's pretty simple. Then what I do is I use about a 1/2 centimeter line up here just to tell myself where to put the seam. And in the center of the 1/2 centimeter line, you don't see it there because I accidentally drew it all the way through, but you leave about a 2-inch gap. So that's me marking the 2-inch gap. I don't even know why I'm putting a voiceover on this because I feel like it's more self-explanatory when my dumb self doesn't try to explain it. Now you just take it to the sewing machine and you sew on the line you just drew. You don't have to draw a guideline, of course. I usually just sew it by using the markings on the foot. But anyway, you sew up to the gap and then you're gonna leave a gap. So take it off, cut your thread, put it back on, and sew the other side. The gap is so that you can turn the bow, which is what I'm gonna do in a minute. I can make about 40 or 50 of these bows at once just by doing each part at once. And then I usually just after taking a soup break. I usually just sit down on the couch and watch some TV with an old chopstick, and I just turned all of these bows out at once, so it's really easy to make a ton of them at a time, which is really useful if you have a whole wardrobe full of outfits that you have to make bows for. I don't know who has that, but you know, I assume you're out there. I took like a lot of snack breaks today. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your turned out bow that is now right side in, you're gonna iron it again so that it's flat. If you don't do this part, you're gonna have a weird puffy bow. You know what, I've never not done this part. Do it, tell me what it looks like. Alrighty, after ironing it, we're gonna fold it. There's no special way to do this. You just kind of fold it around and mess with it. Just make sure the two tails are the same size, but you're just gonna mess with it and then kind of scrunch it up and turn it into a bow shape. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. A lot of people will tell you to cut fabric to a specific size to make the center of the bow, but I really prefer to use scrap fabric from the end of the fabric that I was already cutting, which allows me to use more of the fabric and have less waste, and also to just get a perfect center size. Because oddly, these bows never turn out the same size, so the center piece is always different, so I've just kind of given up on cutting it to a specific size. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if you're making this for a festival or something, people are buying it because it's handmade, so you want to leave as much handmade detail in there. So later I'm going to show you how to make this center look good, but if you wanted to make it look super handmade, or if you just want to do it quickly, this is the easiest way to put a center on a bow. Nobody's going to see it anyway, so I just basted it in and then I stuck a clip on it. Nobody really looks under the clip, but I usually make it look nice just in case somebody looks under the clip. Let's make a small bow. This one's made by taking a 5" by 9" piece of fabric, folding it right sides together, hemming it, and then pressing it out like this. There are a couple of ways to put lace on a bow. You can put it along the long edge, as you saw in that bow earlier, or you can put it along the shorter edge. With this bow, I've decided to put it along the shorter edge. I'm going to fold both sides of the bow in toward the center, and then I'm going to baste this seam. There is no wrong way to do this. You can either sew it like I'm going to do, you can glue it, or you can just let the center of the bow hold it. All valid ways of making a bow. With this particular one, because I want to put the lace on the sides, I'm going to cut it to size now and sew it on while the piece is flat rather than waiting until I've already made my bow. Because this lace has holes a pretty equal distance apart, I did decide to hand sew it. I think it leaves a homey touch to have those little hand stitches there on the back. And now I'm just figuring out how to fold it, and just like the other bow, we're just going to crunch this up until we have a bow. Another good way, like you can make an accordion fold, you can just crunch it and squish it, any way that you want to do it, but either way, I tend to use a bit of an accordion fold. So in this case, I wanted it to be, I don't know, a little bit perfect. So I folded the center and then I folded the edges into the center. And yeah, this was the result. It's very cute. Once I'm finished this bow, it's gonna go off to my little niece, and I think it'll look adorable on her, and she's gonna love it. Take some thread and wrap it around the center to hold. Wait, niece? Second cousin? Mike, what do you call your cousin's child?
My cousin's child?
Yeah, is that like a second cousin?
Yeah.
Okay. My second cousin. I mean, this is gonna go to my second cousin. I like to just like stick it through there a couple of times just to anchor it, but you can literally just wind it around and then stick it through the back or make a knot. Whatever. Do what you feel. Do what makes you feel like this bow is safe and secure, because we're just gonna put a center on it the same way we did the other one. Amazing! Okay, here comes that center we talked about. So this one I've cut to size already, and again, it's just a piece of scrap fabric that I cut to the right size. I'm gonna press that because it's so small. I just don't feel confident in my ability to hold it with my hand, but usually I will just kind of hold it with my hand instead of pressing it. Terrible habit, don't get into it. And So this is actually how you can make your own bias tape as well, in case you're interested in cutting extremely long strips of fabric and attempting to get them straight. I should do a whole video on that. So this is how I make it nice. I actually fold it in. I fold each side in, and then I have this little seam. Let's close up on that a little bit. Now we're just going to sew this steam. We are going to sew this seam using either an invisible stitch or a straight stitch. Doesn't really matter which one you use. Again, nobody really looks at the back of this. I'm just kind of really fastidious about my bows. I really like the back to look nice, but again, it's really up to you. You can honestly just baste it or glue it together. Nobody cares but me. I notice, but nobody else cares. Here's what it looks like with an invisible stitch, and again, I am just going to stick a clip right through it. Make sure the small side is toward the bow, the smooth side is toward the bow, and the clip side is toward the other side, and then there it is. You can cut a ton of 5x9 pieces of fabric and make a lot of different types of bow. I'm going to show you how to make a big bow with the same piece of fabric as this one, and then I'm going to show you how to stick them together to make a double bow, which looks adorable. This next bow starts with 2 pieces of 5x9 fabric stuck right sides together and then sewn together, leaving about a 1-inch gap. And then it's been turned out through the 1-inch gap, and right now I'm just pushing out the edges with a chopstick. You're gonna press that nice and flat with an iron. Get out your scrap fabric to make the bow center. Take this piece of fabric, fold it in half, and then squish it around until you're happy with its shape. I made a double accordion on either side. You can kind of do it any way you want to make the middle squishy. And that's really all there is to making this larger bow. Larger, small ball, small, it's a pretty big bow actually. So this is almost as big as a sailor bow, but it doesn't have the sailor bow tail. Then, using the same method as always, use your scrap fabric and attach it any way you like. Sew that piece on so it can keep the center of the bow as squished. And that's it. This super easy bow is pretty much done the minute you have that on. Except the clip, of course. This one is going to my friend who is completely obsessed with Sanrio and is a major Hello Kitty fan. I hope she likes it. Combination skill number 1. It is so fun to combine bows. So we're going to take one of those 5x9 pieces that have been stitched right sides together with a hole left in them, and one of those 20-inch pieces from that sailor bow at the beginning. We're going to make the big bow exactly the same way we made the Hello Kitty bow, but here's the combo twist. Fold the piece we used to make the sailor bow in half. Then unfold it and scrunch the center like a bow. Attach that piece to the bottom of your large bow. And now your large bow has an adorable tail. As always, sew scrap fabric into the center to hold it together. This big chonker with a super tail makes a good cheer bow for your cheerleading squad, or a great gift for anyone who is just excited about excessive bowing. With this one, I also paid a little bit more attention to where I was cutting the center strip because I wanted to have the face of this adorable little fox right in the center of the bow, and I think I achieved what I wanted to achieve there. Let's activate combination skill number 2. We're going to take one of those 5x9 2-panel bows and one of the small flat 5x9 1-panel folded into itself and pressed bows. Sometimes I don't know why I talk at all. I feel like you'd get more out of these videos if I said absolutely nothing, because you could just watch them and glean from what I am doing, instead of trying to understand me when everything I attempt to say it's the right way around in my brain, but the minute I start talking, it's like... Get it? I do tend to sew these together to secure them. Not everybody does that, so I kind of sew it into like a little bracelet shape. After that, you know the drill. Squish it, turn it into a small bow, and then wrap some thread around it. And there it is, easy as pie. Although, when did pie become easy? The last time I tried to make a pie, it was really, really hard. You know how to do this, right? You just fold it over and then squish it and make it into a big bow. I don't need to explain what's happening on the screen. Seriously, have you ever tried to bake a pie? It is impossible. I don't even think it can be done. And then every year, oh, right, sorry. So back to this. So all you do now is you stack the small bow on top of the big bow, and you can wrap thread around both. I often do, or you can just skip right to the step where you make the centerpiece and put it over both of them, back to pie. So every Thanksgiving and Christmas, my dad asks me to make a pie because my grandmother used to make sweet potato pie every year, and he loves sweet potato pie and he really wants me to make it. Here's the thing, I'm really bad at baking pies. So last year we tried to make sweet potato pie and it came out so runny that I ended up having to freeze it, and we had some really nice sweet potato ice cream, but I can't make pies. I just can't make pies. If you're out there and you can make pies, send me some advice on pie making, because easy as pie is uneasy as lie. This is also really cute if you use contrasting fabrics or put lace on the bows. Really, the limit of these bows is the limit of your imagination, which, as you know, is completely limitless because you are amazing and you have fantastic ideas 1,000 times a day. This is just the basics. From here, you can go anywhere. So anyway, we're going to take some scrap fabric and put a center on this bow, just like we did with all the other bows before. I didn't show this here, but sometimes they sell complimentary quilting fabric bricks in sets, so you can get like 2 different fabrics that go together really well, and then you could put like a different fabric in the center of the bow or as the second bow. Just play around. This stitch is called the invisible stitch, and if you want me to do a video explaining it, let me know. There are a few really good tutorials on YouTube that explain it better than I could. But basically, you make like a little sideways ladder up the thing. You know what? I'm bad at explaining. Let's just say you make some stitches and they become invisible and the whole thing looks really pretty from the back, even though nobody looks at the back. I know I keep saying that, but it makes me sad because I do all this work on the back and nobody sees it. You will, though. You will, YouTube. I mean, honestly, though, isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Be honest. These ones look better if you put lace along the sides, and I probably will do that later, but I have so many bows that I'm working on today, I didn't do it now. I did pre-cut it. Again, as I told you earlier, you should definitely do this step while it's flat. Don't cut it later, and I think that's the main reason why I did not do it with this bow, but I will do it with later bows of the series. These ones you really have to adjust and fluff out quite a bit, but they have my favorite shape as a worn bow and they definitely look extra fancy. These are the techniques used for making any fabric or ribbon bow. Most of the charm of making bows is in changing the fabric around and using cute contemporary fabrics like this Casper fabric I picked up and made a bow for Halloween. Play around, use your imagination, and the sky is truly the limit. Thanks, as always, for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you go out, craft your own bows, and have a great time. But, oh, right, I'm supposed to say, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell because, honestly, with the way this algorithm is, if you don't do that, you might never see me again. Okay, bye!
갑자기 내게 나타나준 너 난 아무 말도 할 수가 없었지 첫눈에 반한다는 이야기가 널 보는 순간 이해가 됐어